Hello ladies and gentlemen, Reginald Scott here, and thank you very much for tuning in to another update video on the hit and run incident. If you managed to make it this far and watch all the videos, then I highly commend you. It's a lot of time, I realise, and obviously time is very valuable, so I can't thank you enough for sticking around to basically listen to what is essentially my story. I hope you found it interesting, elucidating, and generally, something useful to you. So, without further ado, let's get on with it. Today's video is going to be about the CPS, the prosecutor, the defence, and the day in court. Now, I received a letter from the CPS saying that it wasn't necessary for me to turn up to court on the 28th of September 2015, which was actually the court day. And I decided to don my suit and go down anyway. I took a couple of friends with me. One was studying law and the other one was just my girlfriend for moral support. And we got down there, and the first people to turn up were the female police officer and the prosecutor. And they took us into a side room where they sat me down and basically proceeded to tell me what was going to happen. They said, we've not been able to prove that the guy was in the vehicle driving. We've decided to only pursue the case with the with the male party, so the woman will not be tried for anything and nothing is her fault as it stands, and we're only going after the bloke, but we can't prove he was driving, so he's probably not going to get the result you were expecting today. To which the policewoman said, oh, and I was trying to make that clear to you fairly early on in my emails. I was trying to soften the blow that you probably wouldn't get the result that you wanted. So supposedly she knew from very early on that this guy was going to walk and just get away with it. But she basically said that she'd been trying to, during her emails to me, soften the blow and basically inform me that things were not going to go the way I wanted them to, which I find quite extraordinary that she already knew that so early on. It does certainly open other questions. Anyway, the other point I wanted to make is, yes, they only pursued the prosecution against the male party. Now, as I understand it, both the male and female were registered to the vehicle, both the male and female admitted to having the vehicle, both the male and female admitted to, at some point, driving the vehicle, and both the male and female denied any possibility of a third party ever driving that vehicle. So they are the only people, as far as I can see, and they admit this, that could have possibly been driving the vehicle on that day. Now, it seems odd that they would only try and accuse the male. Isn't that kind of a bit, well, sexist? Why not the female and leave the male alone? Why concentrate on the male? Now, I always maintain that my video showed a male, but the policewoman said it's not clear. It could be a male, it could be a female. I definitely feel it's a male, but she said it could be either way, right? Because she has to be diplomatic like that, because to admit to me that it's a bloke driving would then cause all sorts of problems for the police force and the CPS, obviously. And it's not admissible, inverted commas, in court as evidence anyway, because it's not clear enough to be beyond a shadow of a doubt. So it appears to me that they only went for the male because they actually believed that he was the one driving. Otherwise, where's the logic in only accusing the male? Do you see what I'm saying here? There doesn't appear to be any logic to it. Anyway, we left that little side room, and much later the accused turned up with his wife, basically to the trial after spending some time with his defence. And he was 6 foot tall, broad shoulders, muscular and stocky, shaven head, big gold chain, t-shirt, jeans, grubby trainers. He also smelt very strongly of BO. I don't know whether that's a legal point, but he did. Everybody commented on it, and I was a little bit like... Initially when he walked by, right, with his wife, who was white, blonde-haired, sort of bleach blonde, spiky hair, again in her 50s, both of them heavy smokers. Initially when he walked by, and my girlfriend and my friend turned to me and went, nudge, nudge, I think that's him. I was like, no, that can't be him. That can't be the guy that ran me over. Number one, because I just didn't believe that the guy that ran me over looked like such a stereotypical crook, in the sense he had this big gold chain and he was like a big bruiser with a shaven head and all this kind of thing. I was like, come on. I mean, come on, that's like a criminal stereotype. It can't be the guy. I mean, come on, the guy who ran me over is probably like smart. in a suit. You know, that guy's not even wearing a suit. Of course he's not turning up to a court case. I mean, who would turn up to a court case not even wearing a suit? I mean, you can get a suit at Asda for 25 quid. Why wouldn't you come to court in a suit? That'd just be disrespectful. But there you go, I couldn't accept it. Turned out I was wrong. He was actually the accused. Anyway, we went into the courtroom, all sat down. The accused took his seat a little bit like this. Well, in fact, a lot like this. Basically showing total contempt of court, showing that he really didn't want to be there. Not in the sense that he was worried at all, but just like, God, this is a complete waste of my time. Not another appearance in court. I'll get to that point a little bit later on. Anyway, we all sat down. He gave his name and address, confirmed that he was who he said he was, and the court proceedings went on. Now, the prosecution guy, he stood up. He was, I think, in his late 50s. So he was, you know, experienced guy, I would have thought. Someone who'd been doing this job a long time. His notes consisted of one scrap of A4 paper. And when I say scrap, you could see the torn edges on this thing. And the coffee stains as well. And he pushed it round the table in front of him, stood up, pushed it round the table, put his hand on his hip like this. So the victim was cycling down, where was it? London Road. And the accused came along with his car and bumped into the victim, causing him to fall from his bicycle. When he landed on the floor, he hurt himself. But he's all right now, and somebody took a video of the situation. I haven't seen the video evidence, but this is what I understand to be the case. And then the accused, I believe, left the scene. Could I ask the court to show leniency towards the accused? Thank you very much. And he sat back down. Honestly, maybe not exactly those words, but that's what he said. He told an incorrect, factually incorrect story about the situation, made it sound way less worse than it actually was, made it sound like the guy just nudged me and I fell over and that's when I got hurt. Not that his vehicle actually hurt me, but like his wing mirror clipped me or something and I fell over. He had no idea who recorded the footage. He wasn't exactly sure where this incident took place, and he openly admitted in the middle of the courtroom that he'd not seen the evidence. This is the CPS acting prosecutor. This is the guy the Crown Prosecution Service chose to act as the prosecutor, right? And not only that, but at the end of his diatribe, he asked the court to show leniency towards the accused. I didn't think prosecutors were supposed to do stuff like that. I thought the prosecutor was supposed to be on my side, but hey, whatever. I wasn't even asked to come to court, so, you know, I think probably they didn't want me to come because I would see this complete and utter shambles of, well, the way the British legal system works, clearly. Anyway, he sat back down. They nodded, the magistrates nodded to each other. Okay, excellent, well done, John. See you at the golf course on Tuesday. And the defence stood up to make her speech. And she went like this. Your Honours, would it be possible for you to discount my client's previous convictions for motoring offences, as these happened a long time ago in his past, and he has since then served his time for those offences? Yes, you heard me correctly. The gentleman who was accused had had multiple driving offences, multiple driving convictions, and had been in prison for said driving offences. And the defence lawyer asked the magistrates to go easy on him and not to think about those offences because, you know, they don't really matter. It's only this situation that actually matters, right? You can't be accused of something just because you've been a criminal in the past, right? So that'll probably explain why he was so relaxed in the courtroom. She proceeded. As the accused cannot be placed in the vehicle at the time, I would like all the driving offences, the first 3 offences, stricken off, please. Magistrates looked at each other. Yeah, we all alright with that? No driving offences against the accused? Yeah, good. Okay. Done. Okay, please proceed. She said, "We understand that the evidence against him with regards to the filling in police paperwork is very strong, although the accused does testify that when he received the paperwork he thought it was a joke, he then passed it to his wife who forgot about it, and then she eventually did fill it in, but then it got lost in the post, Your Honours. So, even though we have that defence, my client realises that through the goodness of his heart it would be best to plead guilty in this situation. So he stood up, the accused stood up, and the magistrate said to him, 'Do you plead guilty to the failure to give your details when required?' He said, 'I do.' He sat back down and they went, 'Right, okay, end of story, all done, brilliant.' Right, now, we understand your particular situation, being that you are on long-term disability benefits and that your wife is your registered long-term carer. So we're going to give you a £200 fine and 6 points on your licence for failing to fill in police paperwork when required, but because of your extraordinary circumstances and not wanting to put a burden on you, we've decided, and in fact you've pleaded guilty, we've decided to reduce that payment down by £50, and we'll also work out a plan with you to pay in easy monthly instalments directly out of your benefits. Is that okay with you? Do you agree?' He said yes. They went, 'Right, okay, well we can organise that downstairs after the court proceedings. Thank you very much for your time.' Brilliant. Okay, justice is served. Thank you everybody, well done. Give yourselves a pat on the back and see you all tomorrow. Goodbye." Magistrates got up, left the building, everybody else went outside. Boom. I got out the courtroom. The prosecutor walked up to me and did this. Well, that was a good result, wasn't it? My face. "Can I talk to you for a moment?" is what I said, and we went off again to the little private room. And I asked him to explain to me how that had all happened and why, when they both admitted to being in the vehicle, they were not both accused of the driving offence, and why you only then tried to accuse the male driver and why you let him off so easily. And they said, "Look, we didn't have any evidence he was driving. What do you want us to do? Just go around arresting people without evidence? That's not how the British justice system works, you know." And he chastised me like a school child. He proceeded to say, "You know, I'm very sorry to hear about your accident, but it's not my fault." And he said, "You know, I drive an Audi, so, you know, I'm safe when I'm on the road, but I understand, you know, I always respect cyclists when I'm out on the road. So, you know, I'm very sorry this happened to you, but, you know, there's nothing more that we can do. The police officer here has worked very hard to try and get this case together, and you should be happy at least with the result that he got those 6 points and that fine." I said, "Right, thank you for your time." And I got up, sort of almost humming with shock, tingling with like a weird numbness, and just kind of zombie-like wandered out of the courts. And then later I kind of came round a little bit after a coffee and proceeded to obviously talk with my friends about the whole situation. So that was my day in court. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you very much for watching this video. Video number 4 is on its way. That is where I will answer some of your questions directly. I'll try and answer as many as I can. I hope you enjoyed this video and found it as mind-bogglingly crazy as I did. And yeah, I just wanted to ask, are tattoos getting more fashionable in cycling? I noticed Bradley Wiggin has quite a few tattoos, and it's because I got one last year, or you know, a while back, and it's a tramp stamp. lower back it says Volvo. Is that cool or not? I don't know. Anyway, thanks for watching guys, and you know, stay safe.